What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is your girl, Lady Nika, in here adjusting fucking lighting again. I hope y'all can see my ass. Anyway, it's Lady Nika. Welcome back to the channel. How y'all doing out there? I'm sorry this review is late, but in lieu of some recent events, I have made some decisions concerning the channel, and as of starting this past Wednesday, I won't be doing the review for Scandal. The reason why is right now in Louisiana, y'all, it's Mardi Gras time, and if you have a business, especially a restaurant or novelty, it's a very busy time for you, and I really just don't have the time to get the videos out to y'all in a timely manner. So, you know, I had to choose one, and out of all of my videos, my Scandal review is the least viewed, so I chose to, you know, eliminate that, you know, due to the fact that my work schedule has increased. But I will be bringing y'all everything else that I normally do. I'm just cutting the Scandal out for, you know, well, by the time the shit Mardi Gras end, this shit'll be over anyway. But anyway, y'all, I'm in here to do Mob Wise season 5 episode 8, Staten Island CA. Alright, y'all, from last week, y'all remember the fight, right? Well, from last week, we back in that parking lot, and Natalie's smoking her a cigarette, and Karen is still trying to get with her. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, Karen, you know what? It's over, child. Just let go, honey, because you didn't do anything when you had the opportunity. Just cease and desist, as Nene Leaks like to do. Okay, and during this period, y'all, Drita over there hyped up like somebody done pulled her whole cord. I don't know what the fuck. You know, she was just animated like, fuck y'all. And I'm like, bitch, calm down. I mean, like, really calm down. You know, it was just a hair-pulling match. Anyway, child, we see next is Natalie. She's at the house, you know, back at her apartment house, whatever the fuck she got. And she's talking to her boyfriend, Landon, that comes in. Landon notices her face. And he says to her, you know, what happened? And she goes on to tell him about, you know, how she feels like it was a setup. Girl, you knew that it was going to be a fight any damn way, because Angie already had told you that at first Karen had said for them to bring you to them. You know what that mean in mafia language, girl. Cut that shit out. But anyway, he wasn't even tripping, which was a surprise to me. He was like, okay, well, if you know, you were defending yourself, then cool, I understand. And so that's where it said. But y'all, Nelly still think that it's a chance her and Renee can be friends. Child, she putting way too much into it. I promise you, she putting 20 on 10 for real. That woman was talking about if when the original shit had happened, had you reach out to her and apologize, y'all could have remained friends at that point. But right now, girl, she don't be your friend. Hell, get that out your head, honey. Anyway, she also says that she's told Landon that she's surprised that Renee didn't jump in it, but she says that, you know, she's hoping that her and Renee can work things out. She pretty much don't give a fuck about Karen, because she's like, well, you know, I'm gonna be ready next time, girl. I keep telling you about that next time. Well, next we see Renee is on the phone with a friend of hers, and y'all know anytime it's involving that husband of hers, Junior, or her son, AJ, she always hyped up. I mean, she be an emotional wreck. And what has happened is she's found some letters that Junior had been sending to their son, AJ, saying that he missed her, you know, he missed him, and he's going to be gone possibly for a long, long time. And, you know, that's got her all in her feelings, because you remember Junior ratted out Renee's daddy. Now, that's her husband, but he ratted out her dad. Alright, next we see Drita and her daughter trying to get, you know, past all that drama that's been going on. And they're actually picking out photos for her lady boss calendar, right? and they liking pics of Ange. And I be honest with y'all, it be so much drama on these reality shows. A lot of times I like to see when the families interact. I like to see them with their children and their other family members, especially when it's no drama. It's just family time. So I was all for this shit. I like that interaction there. Fuck the drama all the time. So next we see Natalie D and Karen meet up. And they talking about the hair pulling match that Karen and Natalie G had. And Natalie D drops a bombshell telling her that Natalie G talks about all of them. Drita, Karen, Renee, Ange, all of them. She call them C-hags and be asking her why do she want to hang out with, the old lady gang of mob wives. And, that's all it takes to get Drita all hyped up. That's all. Well, Drita don't know yet, but she finna find out and it's gonna get her hyped up. But anyway, she tells her that, the girl was talking to her boyfriend apparently, and they found out that, they saying that she's supposed to be talking about all of them real bad, calling them old ladies and shit. And of course that makes Karen even more hyped up. She's more mad now, and she's determined to get to the bottom of it. I don't know what the fuck. These women too old for this shit. But anyway, child, next we see a scene where Karen and her man Storm is like walking down this riverfront area. It's a nice little view and everything. It's just nice out there. And y'all, this chick say, now Karen, you my girl, but girl, you want to go into the medical marijuana dispensary business? Now Karen, did you not get enough, child, from your last adventure with dealing with drugs? I know you say that, in the past you did it illegally, now you want to do it legally. Bitch, we don't go to jail on the same charge. That's against the honor code. So, I'm like, when she said it, I was just really kind of shocked because, y'all know the backstory. Y'all know that her brother and her dad and them was caught up in this ecstasy ring, and that's why her daddy gone to child. But the baby say she want to be in the medical marijuana dispensary business, and they out there talking about it and trying to get names to the damn shit and all that, child. Bitch, do better. Okay, anyway, next we see Drita and Natalie D meeting up at a boxing ring. And she tells Drita that she grew up around that, she's even participated in some bouts. Her first bout, in fact, was one where she lost. Said a girl beat her ass, but it didn't deter her. It inspired her instead. So she trained hard and she went back and she whooped that girl ass. Now, y'all know, all you got to do to earn Drita respect is get to talking about how you done popped off or will pop off. That bitch there, she all in for you then. She a 150 bitch with you. So, they bonded and shit about that. And then that's when Natalie G comes up and Natalie G name comes up, and Natalie D tells Drita that her boyfriend put her on speaker, and it was like Drita, Ange, Karen are nothing but C-hags, and now, Drita just done lost her fucking mind, right? Because she read that she on 20 now. So next we see Karen, Renee, and another chick, and they do a girls' day and night. They go shopping and then they party at night or whatever. And Renee finds out at that point while she's hanging out, I think they were in a store or something, but she found out that Junior was sentenced to 11 years, and you can tell that has been a source of stress for her for a while, because she actually got overwhelmed somewhat. She got a little lightheaded and had to sit down, because she now feeling like after, all this time I don't have to keep looking behind my back, because she figured he was going to get out a whole lot sooner than what he actually is. But my thing is, girl, that's 11 motherfucking years. 11 years go by fast, y'all. And is that 11 years with or without parole? Because if it's with parole, dude could be out in like 7 or less with good behavior. But that give you an idea. Y'all can just imagine what what Junior would have done had he not did all the ratting that he's done. Because, he would have 11 years. they, you know, every time he ratted, I guess it was taking some time off. And he done ratted enough to get his ass down to 11 years. But, and Renee all happy like the motherfucker was sentenced to life. But, okay, child, whatever. Next, we see Karen go down to Arizona. And apparently Karen's brother has started this restaurant business. And he wants to have a grand opening for the family where it's just him and his family. And then, you know, before he actually does an opening for the public. And you see all of Karen people, cousins, aunties, uncles, everybody, mama, you know, all of them in there. And Karen got a nice looking little family, I ain't gonna lie, you know. She got a nice looking little family, but they all sitting around the table laughing and talking. And Karen mama is recalling times where, you know, her husband, their dad, almost shot them because they were sneaking in and out the house and they were actually escaping through the roof. And they heard it one night, and she said she had to remember, you know, it hit her all of a sudden that it was the kids. She had to tell him because he was finna get ready to shoot the kids, and child, they sitting around laughing, kikiing, and having a wonderful time off of that. I don't know how the hell you have a kiki off of Daddy almost shot our ass, but okay. But, you know, they're sitting around telling Karen's daughter about all of that and telling her that, you know, she's probably nothing like her mom and her uncles and them, because that's the kind of shit they used to do. And we know so far we haven't heard anything about Karen's daughter getting out of hand like that. Next at that table, Karen lets off that she plans on opening up a medical marijuana dispensary, and her mama is the first one to give her the side. And she like, girl, bye. Look, first of all, we may be in Arizona, but girl, you got the Gravano last name. Who gonna fuck with you? Considering what is known about that family, who really gonna fuck with you? Did you forget about that ecstasy ring that y'all had that your daddy now currently doing 20 years on? Child, I guess. You know, I hope Karen got a plan on how this is supposed to work out. But alright, girl. Meanwhile, back in New York, Renee is saying she glad Junior got sentenced, but she thinks about her son, AJ, and it makes her feel kind of bad, you know. We see a scene where she's sitting down with Junior, and she tells him that, you know, I mean, AJ, and she tells him that Junior has received an 11-year sentence, and AJ basically, he very monotone. He's like, well, how am I supposed to feel about that? I mean, he's been gone most of my life, so, you know, what am I supposed to feel? But I can understand where Renee is coming from, because Renee is looking at it like, you know, my son won't have a father because of my choice in me, you know. And she feel real bad about that. And it's a very touching moment, child. I feel bad for Renee, because sometimes we don't realize, you know, that a mistake like that could, you know, have such bad outcome for our offsprings, okay? In other words, be careful of who you lay with, because you don't never know what the fuck is going, you know, what you're dealing with. Try to be as thorough and know this person as much as possible, because if you're going to procreate with them, you want it to be a co-parenting situation. If not, y'all being in the house together as a family. So she was real apologetic to her son about that, and you could tell it really bothered her. She was very upset about it. Next, we at the boss lady party, y'all, and remember, Drita invited everybody. This was before the fight, well, the hair pulling match between Natalie G and Karen. So everybody's scared to be there. And while they sitting there, you know, at the table having drinks and stuff, Renee get a text from Natalie G, and Natalie is basically saying, well, you told me if I ever wanted to, I could always ring your bell. So she basically trying to set up a lunch with this woman. And again, I say, y'all, Renee is over it. You know, she doesn't want to be friends with Natalie. It's too much controversy involved with this girl. And, you know, she's Karen's friend. So she don't want to have nothing to do with Natalie. So I don't know what the fuck wrong with her. But she, you know, she tells them, look, when she get here, I don't have no problem with her. She just don't sit her by me. And she also recants that text message came through, and began just like, you know, maybe she miss you, maybe she want to work it out with you, because really began just really not trying to see drama continue to unfold with the ladies, and she feels like that the ladies are a little bit judgmental when it comes to Natalie. And you know, Drita goes on to tell her about all the stuff that she's been told that Natalie's been saying, you know, calling them sea hags and stuff. And Angie basically is just at a point where she's through. She's done. She don't want to hear it. And she told her ass, she said, look, I came here for your fucking calendar. Fuck all the drama. And she walked off, y'all. And that's basically where the show let off it. I mean, where the show ended at. You know, in my opinion, these ladies are too old for this, for real. I know that they have to do something to earn coin to being, you know, they have to keep up enough drama to keep us interested so that their coins will stay right. But it should be a limit to the things that you're willing to do. When you get to a certain age, I don't care what you're offered. How low are you willing to lower? How low are you willing to allow your standards to go so that you can be seen on TV? You know, it's just a damn shame to me how all these women are old as hell and they on here acting like the girls on Love and Hip Hop minus Chrissy. It's just sad, y'all, but you know, we'll see what's gonna happen next, child. Big Ann just done with it. She about to, now you know, with everything going on, I can kind of understand what the other lady's saying, but y'all don't have any definite proof that Natalie G is actually saying anything. And I think until you get that, because word of mouth is a motherfucker. He say, she say don't mean nothing. I think that if you get definite proof, then I can understand y'all treating her like that. But if you don't really know, then why go there? You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, child. Next, and I know y'all probably like, damn, she put, this is, y'all, I apologize. Like I said, right now it's a busy time, and I don't have a whole lot of extra time to be able to do my videos like I want to, but I am dedicated to the cause, so I'm going to get them done. But what you will notice is probably over the next few weeks, I may put 2 and 3 reviews on one video, and that's because of the time thing. So next, y'all, we're going to How to Get Away with Murder. This is season 1, episode 8, and we start off with Annalise. Apparently, this is during the period, because this show this time it's going to depict what they were doing during the holidays when they were off for Christmas and stuff, and then it brings you back to current day. So right now we open up with Annalise, and she's supposed to be at her mama's house, but she drinking her ass off, like having a serious little breakdown of her own. Because keep in mind, y'all, each and every one of them are affected by this murder. Okay, they keeping their story straight, but you could tell that it's some dissension amongst the natives. Okay. Anyway, we get back to current day, and Annalise is coming into her house asking Blondie where she is. She being Sam's sister. Apparently she went to see her mom, and like I said, she hasn't seen her mom in a minute. And her and Anna Keaton talk, and Anna is telling her that, you know, she don't believe that Sam did anything. And Annalise have to just tell her, girl, he not the man that we both thought he was, you know. And she gives her this, like a packet, like of information, you know, some documents and things in there, and she tells her to read it, because truly Sam is not the man that they both thought he was, which is not nothing uncommon, child. You know, you find out who people really are every day. Next we see Connor, West, and Laurel meet up, and they making casual talk, and you know, and she's sporting a new ring. Michaela Pratt is. Actually, Michaela went and bought her another ring, because if y'all remember, she lost her ring doing that, trying to transfer the body and all of that. So, she done went and bought her another ring. They discuss Sam's sister being there, and as they're doing that, we flip to another scene where it shows them actually back in the classroom, and Annalise is welcoming them to the second semester of How to Get Away with Murder, and she tells them it's going to be more in depth than the last semester. Okay. Then we see a scene where Annalise and Wes are talking after that. And he's asking her why she ain't tell him about Sam's sister. And again, you know, that's when what I call to be a mother-son relationship. Now, some people have seen it as a sexual attraction between the two of them. But I personally think that what's going on here is it's building up to the storyline of Annalise actually being his mom. But she told him, she said, I didn't tell you about it because it's something that you don't need to know. And if I don't feel that you need to know, I'm going to protect you and I'm not going to tell you. So, we good with that. Next, Blondie comes in there to tell Annalise she's got a lady in there claiming that she has a DUI case and she wants Annalise to take her case. Well, Annalise comes in there and she's asking this woman a series of questions such as, honey, where's your police report? You know, oh, girl ain't got no police report, y'all. She ain't got no police report. So that kind of gives Annalise an idea that, you know, with recent events and the media coverage of Sam's disappearance and everything, that this woman possibly is just, you know, coming in here because she's trying to meet the woman who ratted on her husband. And that's what she tells her. And she tells her, I don't want your case. So she turns to walk off and head back in her office. And the lady says to her that she wants to do exactly what Annalise did because she knows her husband has 2 girls locked up in their basement. And that caught Annalise's attention, okay? So once she catches Annalise's attention, we flip over to a scene where we see West and Rebecca accordingly in Philadelphia on Christmas Day. And, you know, they doing a little small talk or whatnot. And then we see it flip back to a lady whose husband is holding 2 girls. I think her name was Jackie. Yeah, Jackie. It goes to a scene where, you know, once we see them, Wes and Rebecca having a conversation or whatnot, you know, on Christmas Day, and then they decide to go have ice cream, blase, skip. Then the screen flips back over, and you see these 2 girls that I think the woman name is Jackie. Her husband is Vincent or Victor or something like that. He's actually got these girls held hostage there. And she gives us a little background about how the man has been abusive to them and how that there were, you know, what did she tell her? She said that he had always been abusive to her, and some kind of way it was a baby that supposedly died and now one of the girls that he's holding hostage is pregnant. And the woman, Jackie, that's why she's coming forward, because she don't want nothing to happen to the girl or the baby, right? So Annalise is like, you know, talking to the woman, and the woman said, Annalise tells the woman that she's going to try to get her a plea deal. Okay, and that's the only way that Jackie will reveal the location of where the girl's at, is if she tell her, you know, try to get her a plea deal. Well, when they go before the judge say that in order for any plea deals to happen, she needs to question the victims, right? So apparently, old girl tells them where, you know, where she lives at, because basically she lived there with that man. And you see a scene where the police bust in and they take him down to the ground, and they bust in this room, and it's 2 girls that are actually there. And the girls are saved, you know, because she told Annalise what was going on. Okay, let's see what we got next. While we at this police station getting all this good information so the police can go and rescue the girls, we see Anna Keaton show up at the police station, and she basically, Annalise is asking her, did you read the information, the evidence that was against him? Because I tried to, you know, actually defend Sam at first, but I later came to realize that he did do it. And when he realized that I wasn't able to save him, he did take off, you know, because the lie is Sam is done took off. He MIA, you know, he on the run and shit. But we all know he dead. But anyway, y'all, after that, old girl is standing there telling Annalise that, you know, she just don't believe it about her brother. I don't know if she ever really let on that she read or didn't read the documents that Annalise provided her with, but she not trying to hear it. She don't feel like her brother was ever a fucking murderer or nothing like that. And she basically tells her that she needs to be trying to do more to help Sam. And Annalise told her, I've done all I can to try to clear Sam's name. Sam is obviously guilty, but right now I'm trying to deal with this house of horrors. And we flip over to West Palm Beach, I think it is. Christmas Day at Laurel's house. Laurel is apparently the child of a little wealthy Hispanic family. And they're sitting there and they talking, you know, around Christmas dinner. Because, again, like I said, it's flipping from Christmas Day for each one of them to current day. So, right now we at Christmas Day at Laurel's house. And apparently her parents are not the type of parents that really just ask her a lot of questions and pry. They don't. So, at the dinner, you know, she tells them about Annalise and the current case that they've been dealing with, you know, and she tells them about her school, and then she tells them that, you know, if they would ask more questions, maybe they would know more about her, because they thinking that she lying to them about, you know, the whole Annalise situation. And she was like, well, I'm also sleeping with 2 men at the same time. Well, Daddy wasn't hearing that shit. That pissed him off. So, you know, they spoke in their native tongue. And then it flips to current day, and Frank is talking to Laurel then, and she's being told to keep quiet about everything, especially in the courthouse. Next, the plea deal is brought before that judge. That's when they go before the judge, and the judge say, I want to talk to these girls before I'm able to, you know, sign off on any agreements that you may have made with the prosecution, okay? And next, okay, let's see. I know she had to check her students because she told them that lady's a victim just as well as her husband is. Because, see, the students are not with Jackie's story. They don't believe it. They feel like it's more to it. But right now, Annalise is not able to see that because she got all this other drama going on. So, they're, you know, they kind of side-eyeing her like, you normally wouldn't fall for this type of shit. But, you know, she is, and she really believes this woman to be a victim. But Annalise checked their ass and told them to get back to work, do their jobs. Don't worry, fuck your personal feelings, honey. I'm gonna need y'all to do your jobs, and that's what they have to do. Next, we see a scene where Anna Keaton is following Annalise around. Annalise is aware that this bitch is following her. You know, Anna done found out that she's sleeping with Detective Hotness, aka Sexy. And everything, and while she in bed with with Detective Sexy, she's told by Nate that he told his wife, you know, about them. Apparently, Nate's wife is dying of cancer, and she pretty much has like said okay to it, because I imagine if this woman is not gonna live very long, she don't want her husband to be by himself. So, although it would be a bitter pill for me to swallow, old girl has agreed to that relationship. And Annalise is kind of sad about it, but she's okay. Next, you see where Annalise finally makes it home, and she just walks up to Anna's car and asks her, do you need to use the bathroom or something? Because you've been following me all day. I know I got to go. Do you need to go? And Anna's telling her that, you know, the reason why I'm following you is because I can't seem to get any definite answers. She said, no, you're following me because you don't want to believe the answers that I'm giving you, but it's the truth, you know. And she asked her, did she want to come in? Anna said no, and Annalise said, fine by me, and walked the fuck off on her. Next, we see Rebecca waking Wes up because he now having bad dreams and shit, okay? Like I told you, each one of them in their own way is, you know, kind of unraveling. They trying to hold a story together to keep from being, you know, caught up with the police or nothing and going to prison for, Lord only knows how long they would go for some shit like this. But right now, they trying to hold their shit together, but slowly each one of them having a moment, because we even see a scene where it flips back to Christmas Day for Michaela, and she's at this party with her fiance, and you remember now, she found out her fiance has tried boy pussy before, so she mad. You know, she's always on alert about that. So she see her fiance talking to this guy, and under all that pressure, she snapped. She walked up and asked them, was they sleeping together? And come to find out, this was just one of the boy's colleagues. And he later goes on to break up with her because he says she acting erratic. And she is, because she's stressing. Oh, all of them is stressed out, trying to hold his secret. So, you know, he break up with her, tell her he want to postpone the wedding for a while. So, you know, they all cracking. We even go back and we see Connor at his family's holiday get together, and his sister has bought him a lovely Christmas present in the form of a very fine ass little dude up in there. But he tells him that he don't, you know, he tells her that he done gave that kind of shit up. He wants to be, he's actually in a relationship. He talking about Oliver, y'all. And he's saying that, you know, he don't sleep around like that no more. He's trying to make his relationship work with her. Well, we flip back to current day on Connor. And Connor, on Connor. And Connor is sitting in Oliver's living room, and he's made plans for them to go out. And he goes and he kisses Connor. He kisses Oliver, and Oliver says to him, you know, you don't have a right to do that. You know, all the things you cheated on me, you know, and everything. And then you came here totally erratic one day claiming like you was on drugs. And Connor plays it off, says he hasn't been taking any drugs since that particular night that he amped out like that. And that, which was the night Sam got killed and they had to do all this shit. And, so Connor, Oliver agrees to let him, they not finna go out. But what you can do is you can watch this movie that I ordered for me, and we could chill out. You know, they play around with each other. Don't, you know, sit close to me, sit on your side of the couch. Anyway, after that, when Connor leaves Oliver's place, he goes out to get in his car, and y'all car is gone. I told y'all, this shit is getting, I'll be the first one to say that, you know, at first I was like, the first few episodes is good, but what the hell? But as it goes on, and y'all know we ain't got but 2 more episodes before the finale. As it goes on, I'm like, man, this is really getting intense, so I'm really loving this shit. But anyway, child, his car missing, child, and next thing we see, Laurel and Frank talking, and Laurel tell Frank she know that he know what's going on with Connor's car. Cause what she said was, I found Connor's car, and he got this startled look like the police found it. And she's like, nah, you know where it's at, cause you have it. Child, I missed some shit, so I don't know what the hell else happened on that part there. So if y'all know, please leave it in the comments below, cause child, I did not know. Next thing we see is Annalise is questioning the girls about Jackie's treatment, and they tell her Jackie was nice, you know, but she did drug us. And when Annalise goes to talk to Jackie, Jackie's telling her, well, the reason why I drugged them was because I didn't want them to remember the rape that was going to happen. And Annalise is like, okay. So we find out that the baby that supposedly died is not dead. She has the baby hid somewhere, and she's telling Annalise, I'm not going to tell you where this baby is unless a plea agreement is reached and I can get out of jail. So Annalise goes out the room, and she's sitting there, you know, she doing her lawyer thoughts in her head. So she goes back in there and tell her, okay, you got your plea deal. Where's this baby? She tells the location of the baby, and when they get there, the baby is malnourished but safe. And it's at that moment she goes back and tell old girl that, you know, we found this baby, and the baby hadn't been cared for in days, really, right? And she was like, well, I didn't expect to be in jail this long. And she was like, she can't wait to see her. Well, Annalise was like, it's going to be a very long time before you see her. And old girl is looking at her like, what the hell you mean? It's at that moment Annalise tell her, baby, there was never no plea deal. You did not receive a plea deal. And not only that, ho, since you want to lie, I quit. Walked out on her ass, left her sitting right there, baby. So now she's going to be just as involved in this murder kidnapping whatever the fuck going on up in them people's house, you know, as her husband, because once Annalise found out that she was not being forthcoming with all the information, child, Annalise played slick on her ass and got all the info she needed. Excuse me, y'all, because shit, I don't know what's got me pausing. That's why the hell I'm sweating. But anyway, y'all, left that girl sitting up in there, child. Next thing we know, we flip back to a scene where Wes and Rebecca are back at, I guess, Wes's apartment, and they're watching the news, and guess what come on? A body has been found at the landfill, and they are saying that they don't have any sufficient proof yet, but they believe it to be the body of Sam Keaton. Baby, this shit finna get good, y'all. So, we gonna keep on rolling and hope like hell some good shit go on, y'all. Because, you know, like I said, we got 2 more episodes for the season finale. And, y'all, I know I did not give everything. It's some shit that I probably missed on here. And we can talk about it, you know, in the comment sections. Because, hell, I forgot some shit. And I know I did. Alright. Let me see. I ain't gonna put in the news and shit with this. But, yeah, y'all, this shit getting real good. And you can see how this murder has really taken effect on each and every one of these people's lives, Annalise included. But I'm telling y'all, it's something with that sister Sam, she gonna make life as difficult as possible, because this bitch ain't trying to hear this shit. She even went as far as to say she was hoping that her brother was just ignoring her or something. Never in a million years did she think that he was involved in anything that would, you know, be like what it is, you know. So I'll be back here same time next week with a recap of How to Get Away with Murder and Mob Wives. In the meantime, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend or two. Until the next video, peace.